No one had a greater impact on Kenya's history than he did. Few African heads of state had such total control of the affairs of their nations as Jomo Kenyatta. Jomo Kenyatta was born Kamau Wangengi sometime between 1890 and 1898 in Gatundu division of Kiambu district to Muigai and his wife Wambui. Young Kenyatta was educated at Thogoto Church of Scotland Mission. In 1919, he had arrived in Nairobi and taken up a job with the Supreme Court as an interpreter. But in 1922, he got employed by the Nairobi Municipal Council as a water meter reader. It was while working for the Municipal Council that he joined the Kikuyu Central Association that had been founded in 1924 with the aim of recovering land the British had alienated from Africans. And it was through the KCA that Kenyatta first entered politics when in 1927 the KCA hired him as their Secretary General and as editor of their newspaper Mwigwithania. 2 years later, the KCA sent him to London to present to the Colonial Office Kikuyu grievances over land. The Colonial Secretary refused to see Kenyatta, and he returned home on September 24, 1930. But the following year, the KCA sent him back again to give evidence to a British Parliamentary Commission which had been set up to look into Kenyan African grievances against colonial rule. Kenyatta would be away from Kenya for more than 15 years, during which he studied political science and other subjects at Moscow University in the Soviet Union, and later anthropology at the London School of Economics. While Kenyatta was away in Europe, a nationwide political organization, the Kenya African Union (KAU), came into existence on October 19, 1944. When Kenyatta returned home in September 1946, he took over from James Gishuru as KAU's president. Through his leadership, KAU would increase pressure on the colonial government to address African grievances. On October 20, 1952, the British governor Sir Evelyn Baring was forced to declare a state of emergency throughout Kenya in order to contain the Mau Mau anti-British armed rebellion that had broken out in Kikuyu land. During the night, Kenyatta and other KAU leaders Achieng' Oneko, Kungu Karumba, Bildad Kagea, Fred Kubai, and Paul Ngei were arrested and later arraigned before a court in Kapenguria, where they were charged with managing or assisting in the management of the Mau Mau. On being found guilty, they were jailed and then detained for a number of years. It was while he was under restriction that Kenyatta married his fourth wife, Ngina, daughter of Chief Mohoho. They would go on to have 2 sons, Uhuru and Mohoho, and a daughter, Anna Nyokabi. The Kapenguria Six were eventually released in 1961, by which time the British had put down the Mau Mau rebellion, but had also been forced to give in to most of the demands that Kenyatta and other freedom fighters had fought and been detained for. By that time, too, the African nationalist movement had been badly split. There were 2 national political parties, the Kenya African National Union, KANU, whose president was Gishuru, and the Kenya African Democratic Union, KADU, led by Ronald Ngala. Kenyatta chose to join KANU and, as had happened in the case of KAU, he again replaced Gishuru as president of the party. In 1962, Kenyatta led the KANU delegation to the Second Constitutional Conference held at Lancaster House in London, that the Colonial Secretary, Reginald Maudling, had called to prepare a new constitution that would see Kenya to independence. In April 1962, Kenyatta and Ngala jointly took on the leadership of an interim coalition government. In the May 1963 general election, Kenyatta was elected unopposed as the MP for Gatundu. KANU won 83 of the 124 seats in the House of Representatives, and on June 1st, as leader of the majority party in Parliament, Kenyatta became the first Prime Minister of Kenya.